What It Takes Radio Company presents another episode, another edition of Interesting Ideas. Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston, and things are not going very well for a lot of things and for a lot of people. This is a kind of a messed up time. Victor Davis Hanson has just recently written, he said, the country is in a meltdown. The country is in a meltdown. Obviously, we look around the news today and things are going very, very poorly for a lot of things. And we don't know what the situation is going to be. So I wanted to at least take a few thoughts that have come to me because I've been thinking a lot about this, because my job is to try and help me and to help you live better right now. And these are hard times to live well in. I will have a measure of celebration. I finally decided toward the about 6-7 months ago that it was time for me finally to lose some significant weight that I had been messing around, not doing anything about. So I made a goal that I was going to lose 35 pounds. And so for an old man, that's quite a bit. Today, I reached 30. I reached 30. So that means that I might be able to make my goal, maybe even by Thanksgiving. And I certainly, before the Christmas holiday comes, I will be there. And then I'm going to try and continue to be there. What really got me going, of course, very much was the realization, as I've told you before, that Dr. Amen, when he talks about grow your brain, heal your body, is that a lot of us look for health and nutrition simply as a way, of course, of taking care of our weight. But his point is that actually it's not your body as much as it is your brain. And there are things about taking care of your brain. We had a long conversation with my brother who played football both in high school and partly college. He was quite good at it. And as he's heard more about the accidents and things like that, and he said, well, I think if I had to do over again, I at least probably wouldn't let my children, my boys, play football. So that was part of the deal. But hey, if you are careful with those kind of things, but it's the food you have, the exercise and nutrition, and the food for your brain. Feed your brain, and your body will take care of itself. And so that's what really got me going, because my body will be what it'll be somewhat, but I do want my brain to be around as good as it can for as long as it can. And so that was part of my celebration day. These are difficult times. And by the way, today, for those of us in the Christian tradition, this was All Saints Sunday. And that's a celebration, first of all, of remembrance of those of our friendship and fellowship and family that have passed away, that we spiritually and immemorially and prayerfully give thanks for their lives. And we are reminded very, very much of our own immortality. That's right. For all the saints. And we sang all those classic songs, but what they remind us of very much what the world is all about. Right now, young men and women are dying. Maybe children are dying too. The war is going to continue. It's not going to stop. And it will go to a conclusion that will be strong on one side. That's the way it will be. And they can complain or they can protest or they can do anything about that, but that's not going to stop it at all. And of course, as we see some of the hate and jealousies and all of the things that are flowing around, we really are trying to say, boy, everything's falling apart. It was found out today, it was announced that there actually is perhaps that smoking gun about Joe Biden receiving actual money for influence peddling from his family to himself directly. And the people who are doing that say they're getting more and more of the goods, and they've got the goods. Well, what's that going to do? That here we have Donald Trump with the indictments, but there's a very, very good chance that Joe Biden, as he runs again, he could be impeached and certainly indicted for some of the things that they are discovering. What a mess. I thought about this, and then I said, what is it that can help us keep some personal sanity and safety in our lives right now? There is so much that is out of our control. Well, I've done a lot of thinking about that, and a guy named Konstantin also wrote an article that was kind of helpful to me because it put a lot of my own thoughts together. And so what I'm going to try and do this week from time to time is just how can we begin to kind of guard our own personal safety and well-being, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So much is out of our control. But what can we do, perhaps, to figure out this is the way the world is going to work, and how can we best continue to live well, seek to be people of love, seek to be the kind of people the world needs? Well, here's a little formula that I'll give you more details some other time. I just want to share it with you. First of all, let's face it. I've said this many times. Adversity. Adversity is part of the plan. Scott Peck said life is difficult. More and more, what we discover is just that. Life is difficult. And no matter what we do, it's difficult. However, maybe what is needed is from time to time a touch of audacity. Just kind of brave, foolish courage from time to time. Audacious, we lean into it. We push on it. We take chances on it. We take risks on it. We do things that normally we wouldn't be so bold and intentional about. We accept that. We do that. And I think I'm going to do more of that. Thirdly, it's to actually deal with the fact that we are all on an adventure. Now, an adventure is where you don't know quite how it's going to end up. And we don't. Whatever plans we now have, whatever thoughts we have, whether it's our retirement or our careers or whatever else is, the way the world is that we cannot be sure. Even the concept of artificial intelligence now having ways and means of actually messing with our work and messing with our jobs and messing with our information is all connected. Adventure. However, you need to have some aspirations. Just, this is what I'm going to aspire to. It can be as simple as, hey, well, I'm finally going to lose that 35 pounds. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do some brave things that I hadn't thought about doing before. But I'm going to continue to not deal with the status quo as the status quo and be okay with that. I will live in a world of aspirations. Then, as one of my new mentors said, and you will never be successful in life unless you learn to truly cultivate your imagination. Make a point, both for your spirit, your soul, your psyche. Read, think. We talk about interesting ideas. That's what this program is. And a part of what we're all about is trying to help you come up with interesting ideas all the time. So that might spark other ideas, and that might spark a little bit of your imagination, but um, ask for the gift of imagination. Just give that some thought. Then there was the realization, termination. I think one of the things, is true of me, and I have some friends who are literally suffering. Their their conditions are chronic and they're terminal eventually. Who knows? But as we see the world, and as Constantine said, please keep in mind always that you will die. That's a certainty. Death is a certainty. When or how, we don't know. When or how, we don't know. That's not a certainty, but it is a certainty. And you can control it. But I'm just going to close on this note. You can control how you will live before then. That's right. Termination is coming. But right now, in the midst of the mess and the stuff that is bugging us all, the lack of leadership in our country, in our schools, in our churches, the amount of crime that's going crazy, the situation with the borders, the world is a mess because we have a lot of stupid, incompetent people who are making messes of things. And we can't do anything about that. But very privately, very personally, very much with your own potential in mind, and for the way to show more love to yourself and to those you love, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because we can be in control to the best of our ability of how we will live before we terminate. Well, those are just some of my thoughts for a Sunday night flowing into the week. That means also that I'm taking some time to do some very, very practical things. I have work I have to do. I have a business that has to get done. I have contracts that have to be fulfilled. I have money that has to be made. I have people who need to be cared for. I need to be responsible for a number of things. And so we pray. We do. We pray, and then we purpose, and then we ask for power and poise to do the stuff that is before us and do it well. And so my challenge, I've been talking to myself this whole time, and I just guess I allowed you to sit in and think along with me too. I would love to hear from you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. As I said, this week on Interesting Ideas, we're going to talk about that and some of those things that can help us have a deeper sense of personal safety, soulness, and well-being in the midst of the mess we can do nothing about. Please give that some thought, and perhaps you can even be on the program. Reach out to me, StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com. Until next time, whenever that is, but shortly, all the best, interesting ideas, and bye for now.